Peace. Yo, peace to the divine infinite consciousness and peace to the divine infinite self in all realms and realities. Travis Scott, the spiritual sacrifice of the individuals that was at the concert. Now, there's a number that they say that actually, transitioned. We're not going to touch on the actual number, but if you do the knowledge, which is look, listen, and observe, and just pay attention, you can piece the numbers, the meanings together, like especially in their sacred geometry, which is something that they found that that was left behind from prior cultures and civilizations of breaking down the actual science of numbers. But anyhow, though, anybody who is signed in the industry right now or getting signed, these individuals, if they don't know already or by now, it's like they don't give a fuck. They ignorant. So they give the beings that give them the money now. Like, here, take the money, but you're going to sacrifice this, that, and the third, and we're going to do this, that, and the third, and within your name, and we're going to have this going down. You know what I'm saying? But the dude, whoever is getting the bread, they're like, well, shit, am I getting the money? They're like, yeah, you're going to get it. See how enticing, you know what I'm saying? That's what the lower self does. It's very enticing. There's nothing positive or great out of this. And if it is, it's only for pleasure and at the time being. It's not a sustainable happiness. But when you're dealing with people who are cluster B personality disordered, I'm talking about broken. I'm talking about somebody who was raped, maimed. They purposely wanted to break. So when they go across the world and try to do the same thing to other people, they don't have to break other people as hard. They'll just, their culture, they'll just give into the narcissist now. Like, here, you know what I'm saying? But the hardest ones to break were woolly hair American black people. And so anyhow, when you're dealing with this whole spiritual sacrifice, these beings, they already know. The ones who sign in, the ghetto rhymers, the rappers, the athletes, all of these motherfuckers, when they're signing them, these beings already know this, the Owaspi book, the ancient texts, even the Egyptian knowledge, wisdom, and understandings, the Babylonians, the Anunnaki, all of these beings, they know all of this shit. They know their demise. They know when the planet is going to be lined up for their demise to happen damn near the day. Only motherfuckers who don't know is you. So when they spiritually sacrifice these beings, they already know they're going on the other side. I think the song that was being played was the other side. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put this shit together. It was already planned. It can't not be peace for one whole year. It has to be something hard. So we're living on a world, which is a world, this is a vortex, whirling, where at this point in time, it's so many evil spirits that done transitioned that haven't even escaped Earth yet. This is why Earth has to be cleansed by higher angelical beings, or else it will just decay before it reaches this ripened point, or RIP end point. See, they don't want to let you know that you're basically from the fruit of life, from the tree of life, naturally, supernaturally, and that you're a fruit, and that you ripen at different stages of your spiritual development and evolution, of becoming one and dealing equality with all. But anyhow, though, they do these high spiritual sacrificial events, mass sacrificial events, where they know that when these beings cross over and they realize that they have crossed over, they want to torment the beings that was hurting them, unless they done already signed that contract in the physical corporeal world, whereas like they can't come back and torment this, that, whatever, if they transition, and they already signed it. The paper, make sure their family was paid in this world. They're trying to keep this world in an operative mode, which as they operate the heavens and the earth. To them, that's better than going into the atmosphere, to the ethereal realms, where you become grown. It's like you want to be a child all your life. And that's where the cluster B personality disorder come in at on Earth or in the corporeal world, where these beings don't even want to elevate out of being from the age of 7 to 16 due to trauma that happened between those times of their development and of their psyche. So these beings become fearful, and they know how to place fear on others to get them to stay. Fear is what holds you back from using your faith. It's these two F's. You're going to have the fear or the faith. They know that they can get you to operate off of fear instead of faith. And faith is dealing with love. Fear is dealing with false. You got to understand these things. Now, we don't understand love. And we've been listening to Tupac and all that shit. Like, I'd rather have you fear me than love me. All this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's under the influence. That's like acting like a buffoon, a buffoonery. Once you understand these people were actors, these people was already broken. They was already sacrificed. This is how deep it really gets, especially with the history. Giving you false histories of slave trades. There was things that happened, but they weren't to a point where everybody was laying down 2 feet away from each other for 6 months at a time. You would lose your cargo. What people would want to lose their cargo? Got to make it make sense. But since you were in a time where the planets were lined up in such a way where you wasn't going to get it anyways, and this shows and proves that the divine has control over the corporeal over here on this world. Like the planets. Each and every planet has its meaning and what it does, and when it goes through different sectors of the space, which they call houses. This is why they were named, called Aquariuses and Pisces. This is when certain planets go in different places and give you different aspects. And these aspects play out in your natal chart. They don't want you to know the truth. So they have placed that doubt, which is where fear comes in at. That's the cousin of fear. All of that is right there. See, faith is having happiness, joy, love. Some people would look at that as an illusion because it's like light almost. Light can seem like an illusion. Like, I can't touch light, but yet that shit exists. It could be warm. It could be cool. It could just be there, but it exists. You could touch fire. That's like corporeal light. Now, heavenly light is different. Certain lights you cannot bear when you're dealing with the heavenly realm. Your senses won't be able to bear, just like your senses can't bear fire in the corporeal realm. But once you get to a point, fire will become nothing. You can hold fire in your hand then, spiritually. So yeah, these spiritual sacrifices that happen when you're dealing with music that is altered on a mixing board console, dealing with Pan, and we knowing and understanding now that Pan was a sunken continent, dealing with satanic worship and human flesh eating, just all kind of just degrading ways of life and methods of life and culture. To their point, they glorify ways of dying instead of ways of living.